Football is a great American sport, but all that helmet-to-helmet contact between players can lead to concussions and head trauma. Recently, the NFL partnered with brain researchers at the Boston University School of Medicine to encourage current and former football players to donate their brains to science in order to study the long-term health effects from repeated hits to the head. To learn more about it, we turn to ABC News Chief Medical Editor Dr. Tim Johnson. Dr. Tim?
Thank you, Tanya. And joining me from Boston University is Chris Nowinski, who is co-director of the university's Center for the Study of Traumatic Encephalopathy and the founder of Sports Legacy Institute, a nonprofit focused on studying the long-term effects of brain injury. He joins us today from a studio at Boston University. Welcome to the program, Chris.
Thanks for having me, Dr. Tim.
And tell us very briefly about your own personal history that led you to this point in your career.
Sure. I got into the brain research business because I got too many concussions playing football at Harvard University and also as a pro wrestler with WWE, and had to end my career in 2003, and realized after doing some research into why I was suffering from memory problems and headaches and sleepwalking that there was a lot of research out there showing that repetitive brain trauma was bad for you, but this research wasn't getting to athletes, and we didn't really know what the scope of the problem was.
And obviously this has become a very hot topic because of the NFL's decision to terminate their present program or their past program, work more closely with others, including you folks at BU. What caused the NFL to make that decision? Was it simply media pressure?
You know, it's tough for me to speculate what happened internally there, but I mean, the research has been there for years. It's been accumulating now that we're getting more work done at our center at Boston University. But I think it was a combination of more research and the pressure that came from the media and Congress that I think, you know, showed the NFL, that they needed to change their position to protect youth athletes.
And what do you think, or what do you say the research that has been done to date has shown or is showing?
Well, the research is showing is that athletes in sports like boxing and football and hockey, those that suffer repetitive brain trauma, develop a disease called chronic traumatic encephalopathy, also known as CTE, and was once known as punch-drunk syndrome. Essentially, it's a progressive degenerative disease. And unfortunately, we've looked now at 12 brains of football players who played college or pro in our brain bank at BU, and all 12 has suffered from this disease, dying as early as 37. So it's a much bigger problem than we realize. We really need to get our arms around it.
And of course, the question I think that many parents would be asking is, how many concussions, how severe do the concussions have to be before there is permanent damage to the brain?
And the answer is we don't know, and there will never be a number of concussions that are too many. What we're learning from looking at these brains is we believe it's a combination of concussions and subconcussive brain trauma. We have to remember that studies are now showing a football player will get hit in the head over 10 G's of force 1,000 times every fall. If you play 10 years of football, you got 10,000 hits plus maybe 5 or 10 diagnosed concussions, and that may lead to the disease. So with parents, we're really focused on prevention and starting to reduce total brain trauma and the number of changes that will come with that.
And this all makes it sound like nobody should ever get any kind of head injury, football or otherwise, that one is maybe too many.
Well, I mean, I don't think anyone should get any kind of head injury. I mean, but we have to understand what we're willing to accept as risk. I mean, sports are great. I played football. I loved playing football. It did great for my character development. But I think the football that we've been playing for the last 2 decades is proving to be too dangerous. And if we want kids to continue to play this game, we need to find a level of risk that's much, much lower. And we think we can get it done by changing the way the game is played, especially changing the way the game is practiced.
So you're looking at changing practice, improving helmets. What else is in the future to try to minimize this risk?
Yeah, the Sports Legacy Institute actually posted a 10-point plan on our website at sportslegacy.org to show how many avenues are available to us. You're absolutely right. Changing protective equipment is very important. We can do better with helmets. Maybe having such great shoulder pads is a problem in creating such big collisions. We think mandatory education for youth coaches and players, which has never been there, surprisingly, needs to be there starting in 2010. We think we need to limit the number of days you can have full contact in practice. We need to do a better job of diagnosing concussions and in managing them. We can't have kids returning to the same game when they have one. So, I mean, we have a number of changes that can be made, and we could probably reduce trauma in football to the brain by 80% if we really try.
How much success do you think you're going to have, or are you already having, in terms of indications at least, that former players will be donating their brains to the center at BU?
I think we're having already tremendous success. The center has only been, we started a brain donation registry, so athletes are signing up to donate their brain. And in the last 15 months since it started, we've signed up over 250 athletes, including over 150 professional athletes, including 61 retired NFL and 4 active NFL players, including Pro Bowlers Matt Burke, Lofa Tatupu, and Sean Morey. So just being independent researchers at BU, we've done a great job through our own connections and the athletes that support us. With the endorsement of the NFL and the NFL Players Association, we think we will get more players involved and allow this research to accelerate even more quickly.
Fascinating, wonderful work, a great idea for both sports and medicine. Thank you very much, Chris, for being with us.
Thank you, Dr. Tim.
ABC News Now. Good to know.